I wrote out every single word of Hamilton to create this poster, and here's how I did it. The first step was to format the words into one long paragraph. I found a transcription to copy-paste, but the formatting and proofreading alone took about 6 hours. Next, I load the words into Canva, where I spaced them out into the shape of the logo. I use this font specifically because it's the closest to my actual handwriting, and this is just for reference anyway. I had to do this 4 different times because the font size would either be too big or too little, and it comes down to a fraction of a font size to get it right. Because of the number of words and all of the trial and error, this step alone took 20 hours. On to the fun part. I take the template that I made and then I make it a translucent layer in Adobe Fresco. The main layer is black for this one, and I use gold at the back layer for now, and then I just trace over the template on every single letter. I was keeping track, and this step took me 63 hours. It might seem kind of tedious, but I actually found it kind of relaxing. I know there are other ways to go about doing this with similar results, but I just feel that doing it by hand makes it a lot more personal and homemade. It just gives it a more authentic feel. Once the lettering is done, I just make a few adjustments to the edges, and then lastly, I make a back layer that has more shading and has a metallic look like the original. I make the title white, and we're done. I was keeping track, and from start to finish, the whole project took me 97 hours, far and away the most work I've put into a poster. I've done this same process for several other films and musicals, but Hamilton was by far the longest because of the number of words, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. I wrote out every word of dialogue from Captain America the Winter Soldier to make this poster, and here's how I did it. First, I use a program that turns my handwriting into a custom font. No, I'm totally kidding. That wouldn't look authentic or be nearly as fun. I actually made a template using a transcription of the film and formatted around the image I chose for the poster. This helps me space out the letters so I know where to write each word so it lines up into the image. I went with this minimalist design of Bucky that highlights his iconic metal arm. I make that template a translucent layer in Fresco, and then I write out every letter by hand. I recognize that there are probably more efficient ways to do this, but I really enjoy the process of writing everything out. I find it kind of relaxing, and it fuels my neurodivergent brain. The back layer has the colors all laid out, and I chose to use a dark gray as the base color to match the whole aesthetic. From start to finish, this whole project took me about 35 hours. All 8,466 words spoken in the film, including all of the French and Russian, are written out, and you can read the whole thing or follow along with the film. I've done this same method with many other movies, including Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'm happy to add Winter Soldier to my gallery.